The Mall of America came to us with a challenge that they were facing late last year with their existing ticketing system in their amusement park.
Here at Nickelodeon Universe, we are centered in the center of the Mall of America, and so we are ungated. What that means is anyone can walk through and visit and enjoy the park without having to go on attractions and rides.
This amusement park is in the main corridor of the Mall of America that can have upwards of 40, 50, 60,000 riders in a single day. So they need to capture their revenue, they need to capture their ridership on a ride-by-ride basis. The technology that they were using was a fixed podium where they would scan wristbands that have points. Those points would be deducted on a per-ride basis.
Our existing scanners had a lot of challenges. To begin with, it was just physically challenging for both the guest and the ride operator. So the guests, a lot of small children, they end up putting the wristband around their ankle, and I would see small children dangled upside down trying to get their ticket scanned. We would see, tall people reaching down and almost doing contortionist moves trying to get the scanner because it was so low they really couldn't see what they were doing.
The podiums really created a barrier between the guests and the operators. It was a lot of times difficult for them to interact.
They ended up having a screen which told them some information. There was a separate screen which told the guests other parts of the information, so nobody had the whole story. And so the ride operator ended up constantly kind of twisting around the podium to really get the full picture and being able to communicate that effectively to the guest.
From an efficiency standpoint, it was tough for the operators to scan guests quickly. So a lot of times we were waiting to get people scanned in before we could send the rides, and it just presented some challenges for us that way.
So when the mall first came to us with these problems with their existing ticket scanning system, we first sat down with them and did some brainstorming about potential solutions.
I think we really weren't sure what this should look like, and that was again, one thing that we hoped that OST could bring, and they really delivered.
Something that's common to a lot of customers that we find in the application development space, and that is that they have an idea. They have a need and they have an idea of what they want to accomplish, but they can't quite complete the vision that is a solution that could be delivered.
OST really brought to our attention a number of things that we wouldn't have thought of ourselves. Some of those were security related, some of them were operational related. The user interface, being able to make sure that it was user friendly and that any of our ride operators will be able to pick it up and figure out how to use it.
Our team really worked together with the Mall of America to come up with a number of different options that would meet the needs.
There were a number of times when we had initially come back with ideas that OST was able to collaborate with us on and develop something that was better than what we had originally thought of.
We knew that they wanted to move away from a fixed podium ticket scanning system, and so our suggestion was to look at mobile devices as being a potential option. One particular device rose to the top.
Ultimately, we developed an Android application running on a specific Motorola device that has a commercial-grade scanner. This enabled them to have a high quality of scanning, fast responsiveness, and offline capabilities that can be very important in order to keep the ridership moving if there's any problems with the infrastructure.
There's a particularly busy period for the amusement park in the mall, and that's during spring break. So they wanted to have the opportunity to actually test the new system during that time period. OST was able to complete the project on time, on budget, and the mall was very happy with the results.
Working with OST was a really positive experience. The team really listened to what we had to say. They made insightful and, just relevant comments to help us figure out things that we hadn't considered, ensure that the scope was appropriate, worked with us to get the app into our hands quickly so we could begin testing it in a real-life environment and adapting it to ensure that it would work as expected.
Development of the new application has been amazing for us. I think it allows us for a lot more efficiency. It's very user-friendly, and the employees that we have are typically young adults, and they're used to cell phones and the touchscreen, so it really caters to their needs and what they're comfortable with. Specifically for guests, I think just ease of use, them not having to worry about where's their barcode, how do I hold my arm, what angle do I need it at. So it makes it a lot easier, it's a lot more efficient process, so the lines will go by faster, there'll be less wait to get on the rides.
And it also has the added benefit of empowering our employees to be able to credit a guest back if they're scared to go on the ride, especially with little kids. They'll be excited to go on the log ride, and then when it comes to stepping into the boat, there's this terror. And currently, we would have to bring that guest back to a store to be able to credit them their tickets. And now the ride operators are going to be able to do that themselves and just provide a much better guest experience.
I actually took the mobile scanner out to one ride today, and the operator saw me coming. He was very excited. He saw me coming. He was like, "Oh yes, this is great." So it was really exciting to see that. Overall, the operators are very excited to see this new app and be able to use this new scanning solution.
I think that the ability to engage in a way that specifically meets the needs of any customer is unique to OST. Do we have a process? Yes, we have a process, but we adapt that process, we adapt the way we engage to meet the needs of the customer. And that's something that we clearly did with the Mall of America.